soccer suit on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Schenectady today in and around the capital region. We have a great show for you today. We're going to be starting out with Adam Bort, and he's a wildlife expert, and he's brought some really interesting animals with him. We will then go over to Saratoga and talk about Opera Saratoga. We got two fabulous guests we're going to be talking to, well known in their own fields. And then we're going to be talking about the Apollo 11 50th anniversary with the Dudley Observatory. Dr. Rapson is here to talk about that. And we'll be talking about the Ark of Rensselaer and their big great event coming up, and it has to do with an evening on the lake, and maybe you'll like to sit in on that one. And then we'll be talking about, Tennessee Williams and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So we've got a great lineup today. Our breaks today, we're going to be looking at beavers and finding out how good they are for our environment. But right now, I'm going to start out with Adam. He's Adam Bort. He is a wildlife expert. Oh, Adam, I'm so glad you're on the show.
Thank you for
Dan
having
Beck
me.
over at My Size said
Yes.
he had you over there for one of their events.
Yeah, I've been over there.
Harry Potter Day, wasn't it?
Harry Potter Day,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I do their science festival, and yeah, I'm in Schenectady way too much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us, how did you get started doing this?
So I've been doing this when I was 5 years old. I was doing animal shows with stuffed animals. My brother was my assistant. Yeah, stuffed animals. My brother was my assistant, so kind of like what the late night shows do. My brother would run back and get the stuffed animal and bring it out, and I'd do it for my family. My poor family would sit there for 3-hour animal shows because they love me. So then I just started volunteering at a bunch of places. I went to college at SUNY Oswego for zoology. I interned at a bunch of places. I lived in Australia for a little bit, interning at zoos over there. Yeah, I interned at some zoos over there. Yes, yeah. So I interned at some zoos over there, had some fun run-ins with the wildlife over there, and then I graduated college. I started this about a month later, and I've been doing this. I'm coming up on my 4th year anniversary.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, it's great. And of course, we do hear about the endangered species that people stick in their pockets and inside of hubcaps or whatever they do.
Yeah, inside books and hubcaps and pill bottles. Yeah, there's a lot of unfortunately, the animal trafficking ring is really widespread.
It's really awful when you talk about the endangered species. So what do you got? What did you bring?
Well, we just had Father's Day, so I thought I would bring a really good animal dad.
Oh, an animal dad.
Yeah,
Look
this is
at
an animal
That's
dad.
A frog.
This is Drax. He's an African giant bullfrog, and kind of unusual. So most frog species, the girls get bigger, but in these guys, the boys get twice as big. He's still growing. When I got him about 3 years ago.
He's still growing?
Yes. He's the second largest frog species on the planet. When I got him about 3 years ago, he's the size of my thumbnail. So he went from 8 grams to now he's just over 2 pounds. These guys can grow to be 4 to 5 pound size of a dinner plate.
Oh, wait a minute. Can you eat these?
Can you eat these? I mean, you can try, but they're one of only 3 frogs.
When you said dinner plate, I'm thinking.
No, I mean, you have a dinner plate for a frog, yeah.
I'm only kidding.
He's one of only 3 frog species on the planet with teeth. So he fights back. Yeah, he has 3 little sharp, we call them odontoids. They're like bone teeth right here on the lower jaw. So anything he bites onto, he holds onto.
So when I asked you if he ate flies, what did you say?
No, he eats much bigger stuff than that. He in the wild, they'll eat snakes, rats, birds, fish, basically anything big enough that can get in their mouth that gets too close to him. Where are you going?
Yeah, he's active today.
Yeah, he's
now, do you keep him? Is he in water?
Yes. So he's in a half water, half humid substrate.
He's got a beautiful color on him.
Yes. So the boys get these dark orangey yellow armpits, and that's how he shows off to the ladies and gets a frog girlfriend.
Okay.
And in frog world, it's good to be real big and real orange. And so like I said, he's one of the pretty good. As far as cold-blooded critters go, he's a pretty good dad.
So you don't have a female for him to
show
off his orange armpits?
I don't be making babies. I don't want any babies. So so in the wild, these guys will actually defend the young, and mom can have 3,000 to 4,000 tadpoles.
Yeah.
And he'll sit there and he'll defend them. There's videos of these guys defending their young from lions and hyenas and all these way too big predators that he stands no chance against. But he huffs up, he shows off his teeth, he tries. And he'll also do, so he's not a good hopper, but he's got these big strong legs, and he actually uses these to dig a channel from the little pond or pool that mom lays the eggs in. He digs the tunnel to a main water body source so the tadpoles can escape. Now, he's not the best dad on the planet because he does eat a couple hundred when he gets tired, but I mean, still, ratio-wise, he does pretty well.
He's culling him out.
Yeah.
Culling him out. But he's got a beautiful face.
Yeah, he's a very gorgeous frog.
I like that face.
And like I said, he's going to get a lot bigger. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you see that face? That face is wonderful. He just, it looks like he's something out of one of these calendars.
Oh,
He's just
yeah.
like a calendar.
That's a calendar model. Yep, right there.
Calendar
Who wouldn't
model.
want that in their kitchen looking at him every day?
Absolutely. Okay, and what else did you bring today?
So, that was the slimy.
We want to make, well, he's not slimy.
Well, yeah, he is. Amphibians, they have the wet slimy skin because they breathe through
My
it.
hand's nice and dry, and I've been touching them.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't underneath it. So. And what's this? Oh, my God, look what's coming. A hedgehog.
Yep, so this is Mary, like Merry Christmas. He's
Hi,
all white.
Mary.
And we're just going to wait for him to
see.
wake
Where's
up a
it?
little
Does
bit.
it have a head?
Yes, he has a head, yep. So this is their defense mechanism. His back is covered in muscle, so he's going to roll up into a ball. Oh, it's okay. He's going to roll up into a ball, and he is actually very soft and cute and furry underneath.
Look at that face.
Yep.
Oh, it's a face. Oh, my gosh.
So he's very, very cute. He's just got to wake up a little bit. These guys are nocturnal, so typically he's going to sleep a couple hours ago, not me waking him up this early.
Oh, look at that face. Now, can I touch
Yeah,
it?
so we're going to let him wake up a little bit
Okay,
more.
yeah.
No, you're okay. You're
Yeah.
okay.
He hasn't had his coffee yet.
Yeah, he hasn't had his coffee yet. No. So this is an African pygmy hedgehog. There's the other famous ones are the European hedgehogs. They get a bit bigger than these guys.
Look at that nose. He's got the. Oh, I'm sorry. Very shy.
He's a little bit of a diva, yeah.
Yes, a little shy.
Now these guys, they have really bad eyesight, so they're really, really good at smelling and
I
really
see
good
the
at
nose
hearing.
going,
Yep,
yeah.
nose is constantly going. He's got those big sonar dishes for ears, and those help him find his prey and also avoid getting eaten.
So
you're
what
okay.
does he eat?
So he actually, a lot of
it a
people.
he or a she?
This is a he. So a
Okay.
lot of people think these are really close to porcupines because they both have the
Yeah.
spiky
Now,
quills.
can I touch?
Yes. Yep. So you're gonna pet him.
Yeah,
Nope,
it
you're
is
okay.
sharp. It
You're
is
okay.
sharp. It
Yeah.
is
Pet him
sharp.
right here where my thumb is.
Okay.
Put them right here where my thumb is.
Yeah.
So they're sharp, yep.
No, it's okay. They are sharp.
Yeah.
I thought maybe they were like hair that was
Oh,
stuck
no.
up.
Nope. So basically, so a lot of people think they're like the
I
porcupines.
never touched one before, so.
No, you're okay. A lot of people think they're like porcupines because they all have the quills, but porcupines are rodents and they have those two teeth that don't stop growing. This guy, he actually has pretty sharp teeth. He's an omnivore, so I feed him things like bugs, like crickets and mealworms. He gets fruit, vegetables, all those stuff, cat food.
Now, but with the difference with porcupines, they can shoot out their quills. These
No.
are not quills.
No, so they actually, no one can shoot their quills out. No one can
Oh, they
shoot them
can't?
out. No. No one can shoot their quills out. But these guys, porcupine quills have.
Well, what happened to my dog?
Well, they designed to come out, but they can't shoot out. So porcupine
Oh,
quills,
okay.
they have barbs on them, so they'll get stuck and lodged in the
I
skin.
know, I did that
This
with my
guy, though,
dog.
basically picture them like little sharpened pencils. They're not coming out. They're just there to defend himself. He'll roll up into a ball, protect all those cute little furry bits from predators trying to eat them, but they can't come out.
Well, I can't imagine anybody eating them because they seem to be kind of tough.
Yeah, they are not the easiest thing to go after, so a lot of predators do just kind of give up because there are far easier things in Africa to eat than this guy.
Yeah. Well, when you first mentioned it, you brought the hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I said was, oh, those are native to England.
Yes, yeah.
But those are different.
Those are different. The European hedgehog gets a lot bigger than this guy, and they're much more viewed as pests because they dig up gardens and all that stuff. So they get probably, I would say, twice the size of this one. These ones over here in America, hedgehogs are very popular pets, and these are the ones that you'll see.
Well, how can I mean, but they're nocturnal, so you have to stay up all night to play with them?
Yeah, so they're not the best pet in that terms. You can't take him out and let him run around a hamster ball. But I mean, I take him out during the day, and he gets used to it. I've had him for about a year now. Most of my animals are surrenders from people that can't have them, don't want anymore. So I got Mary from a girl that was going to college, couldn't take him with her. I have my I have an 8-foot boa constrictor. I got her, I should say. Got her from a family where the son joined the Marines. Mom volunteered to take care of the giant snake, feed the giant snake.
Yeah, right.
Realized she didn't want to do that, so I came and took it off her hands. So yeah,
Wow.
I get all different kinds of crazy rescue stories. My parrot showed up in someone's backyard one day, just out of the blue. Went to my good friends at Northeast Avian Rescue, and they had her for a couple months, and now she's been with me for a couple years. So yeah. Hedgehog's very, very cool. Only unfortunate thing about him is a lot of them get cancer as they get older. Their lifespan's typically 4 to 5 years,
Really?
and they're huge cancer magnets, yeah.
I wonder why that is.
I'm not sure, genetics or something,
Yeah,
but yeah,
well,
they have all
yeah.
different kinds of tumors and stuff, so unfortunately. But they're
So
very,
how long will this little guy live?
about 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
Right now he's about 3, so he's only about middle-aged. And I've been using them in programs for a year. I have a special USDA license that I get inspected and everything and regulated to let me use the exotic mammals. The reptiles and my parrot, not so much, but definitely the mammals, there's very kind of strict guidelines that you're supposed to make sure you feed them this way and do all this stuff just to kind of ensure the proper care. Because, I mean, they are a little bit more, I would say, sensitive than some of my reptiles. Especially here, you can see he's waking up now.
But yeah, there he is. Look at his
little
nose going.
Yeah, he just gets a little. He takes a little bit to get going, but they are definitely more susceptible to things in the environment, and they pay him a lot more attention. Like my snakes, if I had snakes out here, would not care how many people are in the audience or anything like that. But the hedgehog, he smells that, he hears all that, he picks up on all that. But yeah, he's a very, very cute little guy.
Now you brought something a little bigger than
I did bring something a little bigger, so. We're going to put him back.
Wait till you see what he brought next. This is so cool.
So, I believe he was already in the photo, the stock photo that you guys used with me.
Yeah.
But, there's some of his skin. Let me get him out.
Okay, here we go. He's still here. He's just on the floor.
I'm underneath.
He's underneath.
That is him right there. That is my big boy.
Yeah, that's his big boy, and it really is a big boy.
So,
and I am so
believe it or not, I actually got this guy as a baby from an apartment down near the Bronx.
Oh, hi, buddy.
This is Norman.
Hi, Norman.
Norman is an Argentine black and white tegu. Oh, he's about...
A tegu.
Tegu, T-E-G-U, yep.
Okay.
He's a cousin of the monitor lizard, the Komodo dragon. So Komodo dragons are in the monitor lizard family. They're Africa, Australia, Asia. These guys, tegus, they're New World. They're South America. And like I said, this one is Argentina. So snakes shed their skin all in one big piece. Lizards do giant flakes. That's actually off his stomach.
Oh, they flake it off.
Yep, giant stomachs shed right there. And
you know, the first thing I did when I touched, I said, that's just like a beaded purse.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it's called. These are beaded scales. There's only a couple lizards with this. The Gila monster is another one, except that one's venomous, so I wouldn't recommend anyone going and trying to pet that one. This guy, I've had him since he was young.
Look at the tongue now.
Yep.
That's a forked tongue.
Forked tongue. So it works just like a snake tongue. So it comes out, gathers a bunch of air particles with the sense, goes back into the mouth. He has a special organ in there called the Jacobson's organ, which the tongue plugs into and basically helps transfer.
He's going to sleep.
Yep, he's going to sleep. He sleeps about 16 hours a day. He's a very, very lazy boy.
Yeah.
And he obviously is leading a very cushy life.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, the boys get these big jowls, and just like the frogs, boys get a lot bigger than the girls.
So there's no food in there?
No, this is muscle.
Oh, that's
So when
muscle.
he goes to bite down, those will tense up. These guys have a really hard bite. So German Shepherds, pit bulls, they bite somewhere in the 2 to 230 pounds per square inch range. Wolves are about 400. He bites down with a little over 300 pounds per square inch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he'll go for any rodent or anything small.
Well, he's an omnivore. He literally eats anything he can. So he's going to eat carrion, dead stuff. He's going to eat eggs, meat, fish, and chicken, all that stuff, rats, small lizards, stuff like that. But he also eats a lot of fruit because he's from the rainforest and a lot of those areas down there. So there's a lot of fruit and vegetables, so he's going to eat all those too. He's an omnivore.
So he gets a big fruit salad. He's on TV. He just,
no, he doesn't care.
I'm just
he does not
here,
care.
And I am just so tired.
I do programs with him constantly throughout the year.
But look at the tongue. I really want to talk about the tongue here because he's got, look at that tongue.
You can stick your hand to feel it.
Yeah, okay. Oh, just fine.
Yeah.
What, did I taste pretty good? You're looking at me. I'm not so sure. He's got teeth. It's like, I'm not sure. Let's talk about the tongue because the tongue is not just for eating, right? Can he smell with it?
Yeah, he smells with the tongue. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah. He likes you, huh?
Yeah. When he was younger, when he was smaller, I used to let him climb up onto my head because all the kids would think it was funny and everything like that. And the problem was as he got bigger, he still thought he could do that.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, he'll try and climb top of my head, but I think he's a little too tired right now because we're up kind of early for him. Usually he's not getting up until around 11.
But it's really his scales. I don't call them scales.
No, these are scales, yep.
But really?
Yeah.
I think of
they
scales.
don't feel, all scales feel differently. Some have keels to them, so some are sharp. Like if you pet like an iguana's tail, it's very razor sharp. They're all completely different. So this guy, he's got beaded scales up here, and then if you feel the tail, this is his primary way to defend himself. Very rigid, because when you get scared by a predator, he's going to whap that, and it's very, very hard hit. So yeah, these are very rigid scales.
It's like a whip.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. He tail whips.
And look at his feet. Let's talk about the feet, because the feet are interesting. It's not.
I think you snuck my mic off.
Oh, he took your mic off?
Yeah, he took my mic off.
Okay, well, that's okay. Let me work on the mic.
Oh,
He wants to talk. He wants to have a little something to say here. Do they make any noise?
Not particularly. I mean, in the wild, when they get scared, they'll hiss and huff up and everything like that. But he's never done that with me.
But his feet, if you can see his feet, those are really interesting because they're not just like, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like a backwards hand. So he's got the thumb and everything like that. He's a very good digger.
Do they climb?
No, they're diggers
They're
primarily.
diggers.
When they're younger, a lot of lizards will actually climb to avoid predators. Same with Komodo dragons. Smaller Komodo dragons will climb trees to avoid the bigger ones because they will cannibalize. Hello.
Yeah,
Hi, big
this is
boy.
really very interesting to
Yep.
touch this. I mean, it's like a
Yep.
beaded purse. No kidding.
So I got him from a guy that had him in a little apartment. Like I said, I got him as a baby, and within a couple months, he was already as long as the
Is
fish
he
tank
still
he had him
growing?
in. No, he's about full grown. The black and whites are about the biggest species of the tegu because there's a couple different ones. At home, I also have a red tegu that's red and black, and they're typically from Paraguay.
Oh, he's right on your mic now.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Well, they're not going to hear you, so okay, good.
There we go. Hi,
Okay.
big boy. Where are you going?
Okay, yeah. You're okay. You're burping him, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
he's
kids
fine.
do.
I hold him. I have to literally hold him like a little baby. Yep.
But okay, so now you do. You go to schools, I know.
Ah,
that.
yes. This is my
He's right
business.
can he hear you?
I don't know.
Why don't you just hold your mic?
Hold it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do education programs. I do schools and birthday parties and camps and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and festivals and fairs and all that stuff. Hello.
Yeah.
I do libraries. So yeah, I come and I basically try and teach people that a lot of these animals, because today I brought kind of relatively tame things, but I also have snakes and spiders and scorpions and some animals that usually people are more afraid of.
Yeah.
And I just come and I show everyone that these animals aren't scary. You don't need to be afraid of them.
No,
if
I
you see
know.
a garter snake in your yard, you don't need to flip
Oh
out.
no.
Stuff like that.
I kind of
So-
like garter snakes
Yeah,
in my
exactly.
yard.
Snakes are really good rodent control.
I love
yes.
them. I
So
love
if you have
snakes.
snakes in your yard, very small chance
Yeah,
you're gonna have
don't
rodents
kill 'em.
moving out. Yeah,
Don't kill 'em.
So yeah, I just come and I show people that these animals aren't scary. I let everyone touch and hold the animals so they get a chance. Because I think when you get to interact with the animals, it's a lot different than if I just came and spouted facts about these
Yeah,
animals.
yeah.
You getting to come up and touch and hold these animals, feel the tongue, feel what a hedgehog feels like. It's all very cool. It all kind of like syncs the message even more.
Yeah, good. Well, Adam, thank you for being on the show
No
today. I think it's
problem.
really. Let me get the mic there.
Yeah.
we
hard
have
to do both.
a little problem with the mic. Adam Bort, he's with Uncharted
Yes.
Wild.
Uncharted Wild on Facebook.com/UnchartedWild, and we're also on Instagram.
Yeah.
I
And
have 60 critters. I have 60 animals, and I'm always posting pictures of. They're like my kids.
I know. Well, why not? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't they be?
Yep,
No
yep.
kidding. So we've been looking at a timber.
Tegu.
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 Boy, I'm so sorry.
No, you're all right.
Tegu.
It's an unusual word.
Yeah, I'm not familiar at all with the tegu. And we looked at the frog, the big frog,
Yep.
and an African hedgehog. So
Yes.
thanks for bringing them
No
today.
problem
yeah,
at all.
good.
Thank
I
you for
wish I
having
could give them
me.
a treat, but I don't know what to treat them with.
Oh, no, I don't think we'll worry about that.
I think you might put them in the basement. There might be a mouse down there.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not sure.
probably.
Good.
You might be too lazy to hunt it.
Yeah, I think so too. Thanks for being here.
No
We're going to take a
problem.
quick break. We've been talking with Adam Bort from Uncharted Wild. And we'll take a quick look at the beavers and see how they're helping our environment. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about Opera Saratoga. Stay tuned.
Beavers build important habitat. A great variety of wildlife and plants largely depend on the industrious beaver to provide them with crucial wetland habitat. Beavers help people too, by providing cleaner water, reducing flash floods, and by helping to sustain healthy wildlife communities. An organization from upstate New York called Beavers, Wetlands, and Wildlife is dedicated to promoting an appreciation of the beaver and its habitat, and to conveying practical methods to solve beaver-human conflicts whenever and wherever they arise.
Beavers, Wetlands, and Wildlife is an educational nonprofit where we help people to learn about beavers and to solve problems when there are conflicts. So we try to look at the specific problem, whether it's...
And here we are back again. It is my extreme pleasure to bring to you Opera Saratoga. I'm Ann Perillo. You're watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. And today I have Ricky Ian Gordon and I have Jennifer Zetlin. Is that correct? Ricky is a composer. He's been written up in New York Times, and I mean, amazing. And you composed the music. He said he started at 5 years old. Not for this opera, but
No.
no.
I should have.
And this one is called Ellen West.
Yes.
And who did the? Who's the lyricist?
The
Lyrics.
words
The
are,
words.
it's a poem by Frank Bedard, who
Oh.
won the Pulitzer Prize this year as well as the National Book Award for his latest volume called Half-Light.
Okay, so you are using the poetry and you composed the music to go.
Yes, and then I set the
And you
entire...
sing it.
Yes, and she's Ellen. I set the whole poem to music, which was written in the form of a script. And then when I was done, I realized I needed more. I wanted a prologue to contextualize the piece. So Frank actually ended up writing a prologue. Oh, Lucy, you gonna climb off?
Lucy is not in the show.
Yeah. And we also have an epilogue that Frank. So it was actually ended up being a collaboration.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yes.
Was that exciting?
Yes, because he's definitely a hero of mine. He's one
Yeah.
of my favorite writers ever. So it was shocking how accessible he was in that way. I won't say accessible in other ways because he's a recluse.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes artists are.
Yes.
And you have Jennifer who's performing the music.
Yes.
Jennifer, you appear all over. A wonderful voice. I mean, this is amazing that you were able to connect here and do Ellen West.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled.
You
to
are
be-
Ellen West.
I am
right?
Ellen West.
And this is the amazing thing. You know, you think of opera as being, you know, star-crossed lovers and stuff like. But this is different. Tell us about it.
The piece is about, there was in the 30s a Swiss psychiatrist named Ludwig Binswanger wrote a case study of a woman in his hospital with an eating disorder, and he named her Ellen West, which is a pseudonym. And Frank read this case study when he was in college at Harvard, and 20 years later, and it haunted him. And 20 years later, he turned it into, I think, one of the greatest poems of the 20th century.
I'm going to have to read it because
it's
I'm not familiar
stunning.
with it. Yeah.
It's a stunning piece. The opening line of the poem is, Ellen says, "I love sweets. Heaven would be dying on a bed of vanilla ice cream. But my true self is thin, all profile and effortless gesture. The kind of blonde, elegant girl whose body is the image of her soul." It's an amazing poem,
beautiful.
right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so I was haunted by it when I read it in the late 90s. I read it in about 1996 after I had a partner who died of AIDS. And I literally had to leave my life. And
Oh, yeah.
when I
yeah,
went out
yeah,
into
yeah.
the world, it seemed like the people I came in contact with were poets because I needed to be in contact with people whose experience.
Feelings.
Yes, who were feeling their universe, and it was a very painful time. So I discovered this poem. It haunted me, and 20 years later, I ended up setting it to music. So there's sort of this tradition, and there's also a thing about Ellen was a poet, and at one point, it says in the poem, it says she who at the end
Who in the last months of her life.
in the last months of her life abandoned writing poems in disgust at the failure of her poems is a poem. And Jennifer, let me just say, and so Jennifer is a singer who I saw her years ago. She was at Juilliard.
Couldn't have been that many years ago.
It was like, a half a year ago. And she was in an opera. There was a new opera by Ned Rorem of Our Town. And Jennifer played Emily. And I truly thought it was one of the most remarkable, shattering performances I've ever seen by an opera singer. And I sort of followed her, and then I had an opera premiere, an opera called Morning Star, and she starred in it, and now we're joined at the hip.
So you're working together. So Jennifer, so how long have you been? When did that come to you that I want to be an opera star? Most of the I want to be Beyonce. I want to be.
I started doing musicals when I was 7.
Okay.
And I grew up in Delaware, and I did my first show was a dinner theater, King and I.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought, this is it.
This is it.
Broadway.
This is it. Broadway.
And,
here I come.
And then I actually went to school originally as a music theater major, and I had a voice teacher who said, have you considered opera? And I said,
they heard your voice.
I'm absolutely not interested in opera, not at all. And she said, have you
this
been to the opera? And I said, well, not
Carmen,
really.
maybe.
I hadn't even seen Carmen yet.
Okay, everybody's seen Carmen.
Exactly. And thank goodness she heard some potential in my voice, and she probably wasn't the first person to say something along those lines, but she was the first person to say it in such an enthusiastic way, and she gave me a ton of recordings to take home and listen to, and something about all of that conversation really intrigued me, and so I sort of changed paths slightly and became an opera singer, and thank goodness.
And you
She's
can
like
never
my
go back
fairy
to musical
godmother.
comedy after this.
She did
I
Fiddler
actually-
on the Roof.
I
on Broadway.
have. I thought, I left it behind, and then I ended up, just a few years ago, I was in the cast of Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway.
What part did you play?
I was Shandel, the mother of
Oh, the
Motto,
mother.
the tailor.
Okay, yeah. That's a wonderful musical anyway, and wonderful music in it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So when you heard about this Ellen West, what did you think about the content of the
So the first
opera?
time I ever heard about Ellen West was Ricky and I were working on a concert together, and it was obviously weighing in his soul at the time, and so he told me about this piece he was working on, and this was several years ago, and he described it to me, and I'm sure he recited some of the words to me because that's what he does the best. It's so great, and I wept in his living room just at the content and the resonance of it, and so then when I was cast in the opera, I was just thrilled to be.
How many
part
are
of
in
it.
the opera?
It's just it's
Two
for two
singers.
people, and
The
then
psychiatrist
there are
and the-
two
yeah.
silent characters who play like orderlies, but basically it's for a man and a woman, and the man plays Frank, the poet, and then the doctor, and at a certain point in the way Emma Griffin has staged it, really the husband as well, and then Jennifer plays Ellen.
And there's only one performance of this, is
No,
there?
there's
There are
three.
three.
Oh, there's three.
There's
Oh, good,
three.
good, because I looked at this. I said, only one performance because I
No.
think what I got was
It's
June
the June
30th
30th,
at-
July 6th, and July 12th.
I don't have that.
Oh, and
Oh, that's all right, because this is going to go on Facebook. July, of course, this doesn't write, so that's the way life goes. And here we are on live TV here. July 6th,
July 6th, and then
I
July
got it,
12th.
July 6th and 12th. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And it's at the same time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
No,
The
the
30th
last
is
one's at night.
Yeah,
Night.
it's the 30th and the 6th. They're both at 2 p.m. and the 12th, I believe, is 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, good, because we're going to get the word out on that to
Great.
make sure. Because
Good.
Because we want people to hear this and
Yes.
see it. And I mean, the way you explain it to me, Ricky, is like, it touches me.
Listen, it's really deep, beautiful, amazing piece. I'll tell you, do you want to hear one line from the
Sure,
poet?
I'd love
That
to.
is, if I had to say the reason I set this poem to music, Lucy, why are you being so squirmy?
That's
Huh?
a line?
Oh, no, that's not the line is, so Ellen eventually, and it's not like a spoiler, but she does, the doctor can't help her. And, in general, eating disorders there's not a great recovery rate. So in the end, she writes a letter to a dear friend in the hospital and then takes poison. And the first line of the letter is so extraordinary to me. She says, "Dearest, I remember how at 18, on hikes with friends, when they rested, sitting down to joke or talk, I circled around them, afraid to hike ahead alone, yet afraid to rest, for I was not yet truly thin." And
no matter what they see themselves at, they're not thin enough.
yeah, and to me, the larger story is none of us feel good enough. I mean, that is sort of the Western enigma, is no one feels good. And this is, I had a therapist who said, he said that every patient he has now, because of social media essentially, he would coin it as a disorder of measurement.
I'm not good enough.
A disorder
I'm
of
not
measurement.
thin enough.
Yes.
I've got too many wrinkles. I've got my hair isn't.
Yes,
it's not
because
lustrous
everyone
enough.
falsely brands themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like the great, highlights of everybody's bland life. And so Ellen West is largely about that to me.
And it touches all of us, really.
Mhm.
Because if you look, and then you see these things on social media where it shows how they Photoshop everybody.
Yes.
Their necks really aren't that long, and their thighs are not that thin. And they got wrinkles on their thing.
Yes.
It's like we're all human, for Pete's sake.
That's right. Those incredible Dior ads with that actress who was in Monster, that gorgeous actress. And it's like
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Sure.
I mean, those are airbrushed.
No, really?
Oh my God, yes.
And they are not airbrushing us.
That's the thing. I am this beautiful.
we are all beautiful. It doesn't make any difference.
What's really interesting about the piece is that while it is a piece about a woman who has an eating disorder, it's like Ricky's saying, it's accessible to everybody because everybody has had the experience in their life of not being enough.
Good enough.
In some,
Good enough.
In
Yes.
some way. Yeah, and that's what's really special
And
about
Jennifer so beautifully portrays that sort of struggle, and because Ellen West, what fascinated Dr. Binswanger, who's played by this incredible baritone Keith Fairs, is that she is brilliant and articulate, so she sees her circumstances with searing intelligence and articulateness, which is what makes her saga so interesting, that a very famous doctor would dedicate his life to writing a case study of her. All right,
Well, looks like Lucy wants to leave,
Yeah.
and we are out of time.
We're
so
out of time?
Lucy, you had the right timing.
Lucy,
on
good
that.
timing, baby.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank
both.
you.
Really
Same
nice,
here.
And I wish you,
Thanks for having
such wonderful success with this.
Thank
I
you
really
so
do.
much.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a
Come
pleasure.
see it.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking about Apollo 11.
Oh, I just saw that documentary. Amazing. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Give me that other pen. I'll bring you some pens.
That's okay.
These
No, that
got-
one works. That
it
one
does?
works. Yeah.
This is a good one. I'm gonna
Oh, okay.
there.
That's all right. Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
By phone, by fax, and by email. And we have a website, and a lot of people go to our website, beaversww.org, in order to get information.
All animals are important in an ecosystem, in a natural community. But some are more important than others. Some are actually running the show because they create the habitat that others rely on for their survival. For example, beavers build dams that back up streams and create pond and wetland habitats. Almost half of the threatened and endangered species require wetland habitats for their survival at some point in their life cycle.
Beavers have unique physical attributes that allow them to alter their surroundings to create their own habitat. They are especially well adapted for life in the water.
And here we are back again. Did you bring an animal with you?
I did not bring an animal, but I did bring a glowing moon. So
A glowing
you know.
moon, and it's right there on the
Yeah.
table. That is pretty interesting. It must be LED.
Yeah, it's an LED. It's a 3D printed moon, and it shows the craters and the mare
Does it
accurately.
really? Oh my
Yeah, you're
God.
welcome to pick it up.
Yeah, I think I will.
It changes color. It's really cool.
And are these for sale in the?
We don't have them in a gift shop.
Oh.
I got this as a gift.
Yeah, look at it. Really is. It
Yeah,
does show all the
very
craters.
cool.
And I have to say this. I have a telescope, and I'm fiddling around and I'm looking at the moon, and you really can see all the.
You can, yeah. Even with a small telescope, you can see a lot of detail. It's really cool. And our
Amazing.
telescope at the observatory, you can see all sorts of stuff. You can take
Yeah.
a tour of the moon, see all the craters.
That was such an exciting time. I know it was before your time.
I know,
Yeah,
I know. I wish I had lived through it, but I hear a lot of great stories.
I mean, it was so amazing, and that's the Apollo 11, and that's when they landed on the moon, and the one step, great step,
Right.
that whole thing. John Glenn and who was with?
It was Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
They were the
I'm
ones
sorry.
on
I'm
the-
sorry. You think I'd remember that,
It's
but
okay.
I didn't.
It was a long time. It was 50 years
I
ago.
50,
So
I can't remember all that. But anyway, amazing. I mean, it was like so stunning. I think the entire world was watching that at the time.
I think so. It still holds the record for the most watched TV program.
I believe that.
Yeah.
The Kardashians didn't make
No,
it.
not yet. None of the Super Bowls have beat it out, so we're good. We're good.
Good. Tell me, how are you celebrating this?
Well, we have an exhibit coming out in July and August. There was a local woman whose father was in the Apollo program, and she's gifting us some of her pieces. So we have a lunar module manual. We have lots of letters and signatures of the different astronauts. So those will be on display. And then we're having Lunar Engagement Day on July 20th, where kids and families can come, do lots of hands-on activities, see a couple of documentaries. It's going to be a really fun day.
Got any moon rocks?
We weren't able to get the moon rocks. We tried, but I think they're really popular this summer,
so
they're touring all over the place.
Actually, just take any rock and say, "Oh, this is a moon rock."
you know?
No, we wouldn't do that. No, not the museum would never do that.
Right. No, never.
Yeah. So, what we're trying to do is to celebrate this accomplishment. Do you think that we will now have one in 20 years? For Mars?
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that I'll live
Mars?
through Mars, right? So everything we learned from the moon landing has taught us how to improve the technology and get ourselves to another object in space, and Mars is really next.
What did we learn from the lunar landing? What did we learn? Were there elements there that we had never seen before? Was there an atmosphere that we didn't expect?
Right. Well, the first thing we learned is that space is hard, right? It's hard to go to space. You need a lot of technology. The rocketry is dangerous, so we learned a lot about that.
They did a lot of experimental work on
very much
on
so.
with bugs and things like that.
Yeah, they sent a lot of animals up. Both the Soviet Union and the United States sent a ton of animals up before they sent humans.
Sputnik was the first one.
Yeah, Sputnik was the first satellite, and then they sent some dogs after that, and a bunch of monkeys, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But about the moon specifically, we learned about the interior of the moon. We learned about the dust, which is basically tiny shards of glass all over the moon. Yeah, it's very dangerous, that lunar dust. Yeah, definitely. And if you breathe in too much, you'll get sick. It'll cut up your lungs. So we have to be careful if we send astronauts back to the moon for sure.
Well, see, but you learned that.
You
right?
did.
They
yes.
didn't expect that.
We wouldn't have known had a human being not gone to the moon. So it is important not just to send the robotics, but to also send people who are going to interact with the surface of the moon.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the gravitational pull is different as well.
Yes, it's a little bit less. So that's why you see the astronauts like jumping around.
Yeah,
I bet it's a lot of fun up there.
You gonna go?
No, I'm going to keep my feet on the ground, and I'm going to cheer on everybody else who goes.
I know. It's like. You imagine it, and of course I'm one of these people that I'm a Trekkie, I love Star Trek and things like that that kind of make you look at the world in a different way that we're here, but there's so much out there. Now, whether there's life out there, we don't know.
Right. We don't know yet.
And I think they found a few planets or stars or whatever that could support life.
Yeah, they have.
As we know it.
Yes, that is the key. And there's so much more out there. The universe is so big. Like, in my mind, there's got to be something else out there. We just have to find it.
Yeah. And it will eventually, who knows if we don't blow ourselves up first.
Right.
God. But we want to remind people that they can enjoy the celebration, which is the 16th through the 24th.
Yep.
That's going to be at the Dudley or at my site as well?
Well, it's all one and the same. So the
no,
exhibit is going to be up inside the museum, and then July 20th, this Saturday, is the big day with the film screenings and all the hands-on activities, and the telescope will be open as well.
Okay, and planetarium?
Yes, planetarium too.
Yeah, and now you said the film screening. What are you going to be showing?
Yeah, so in the morning, 10:30 in the morning on that Saturday, we're doing Ready, Jet, Go. It's a PBS series, a cartoon for kids.
Yeah.
Right, all about, they'll do a sleepover on the moon. And then in the afternoon at 4 o'clock, we're going to do a screening of Earthrise, which is really about Apollo 8 and that famous picture of the Earth rising over the moon. So a very
Wasn't
sentimental
that an
documentary.
amazing photo? And it
Yes.
was like that.
Right.
The only time he could have caught it was right there.
Yep, and it puts everything into perspective. Like everybody you know is on that blue globe,
moonrise, yeah.
and you're not. You're standing on the moon or orbiting around.
Yeah,
the
they
moon.
were orbiting
Yeah.
at the time, and it was just a chance. I read about how they took the photo. It was just chance that that he looked and saw
It was like, oh my gosh, we have to take this picture.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it wasn't. If they'd been sleeping, we never would have
Right,
gotten him.
right,
Yeah, I
exactly.
mean, amazing. But the idea of celebrating this, and I know people say, well, this is wasted money. It isn't wasted money because it's part of the scientific exploration that we're doing. And we really need to be aware of what's out there. And the moon is our satellite, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
The moon is right there.
Of course, if we were in Saturn, we'd have a lot of moons to
That's
go
true.
for, right?
That's true. That's true. Then we'd have rings too.
We'd
to
have rings too.
investigate.
Rings
Yeah,
and
it'd be a lot of
moons
fun to
and
be on Saturn.
I know. But maybe someday you and I will be sitting here talking about the Mars.
I'm hopeful. Yeah.
You ever see the movie The Martian? Wasn't that an interesting film?
Yes.
Yeah. It was really. I can't imagine being alone.
I know. Someday we'll be up there. It'll be great.
And I hopefully there'll be a woman involved in that
Yes,
too.
that would be nice. That would be nice.
And we didn't mention the Challenger Learning Center, which we have. You could go to a satellite.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we do mostly school groups now, but yeah, you can bring the whole group of kids and you can do a simulated mission to space, go to the space station and see what it's like to be an astronaut.
How cool is that? We're talking about my side, the Museum of Innovation and Science right here in Schenectady, and the Dudley Observatory, which doesn't look like a huge building, but it's perfect.
No,
it's got a wonderful.
Right. The roof rolls off, so it's awesome.
We got to get the roof off. That's the important thing. So thanks so much,
You're
Valerie, for
welcome.
being here. It's always a pleasure to have
Thank
you
you.
on and chit chat about space.
Oh,
you
yes.
know, you and I are, one of these days.
Anytime.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll get right back here on Earth, and we're going to be talking about beavers. So let's take a look at those beavers and see what they do for our environment.
For extended periods of time, while they work or collect food. The features that work to the beaver's advantage in water become a hindrance to them on land. Out of the water, they appear awkward and slow. This makes them more vulnerable to predators, so beavers tend to limit the time they spend on land. An adult beaver can weigh 60 pounds. Their bulk helps to keep them insulated and warm. The tail of the beaver is broad, flat, and hairless. Most of it is covered by dark scale-like ridges of skin. The beaver uses its tail as a rudder to steer with as it swims.
And
The beaver also uses its tail.
And here we are back again. You're back again, huh?
Yes.
And you're getting into your, second or third year or something?
No, I come up my first year anniversary.
First year, I knew,
Yeah,
because
I
you
knew it was
just
close,
started.
right.
And you
And
brought
that-
Lisa with
Brought
you?
Lisa Anderson.
Hello,
Lisa's been about,
hello.
18, 19 years with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been there a lot longer.
18 years this year.
Yeah.
Well, I've been with the ARC 25 years. This is the
But
first
not
year
this-
that my role. the
Oh,
role.
okay, in this role.
In this
Yeah,
role.
that's right.
Yep.
You're the Director of Family Supports and Self-Direction. I have to ask you, what is that?
I call it everything other than residential,
Okay.
but in family supports, we do night rec, we do summer camp, we provide respite to the caregiver, people who live at home. We also have a guardianship program. We provide family reimbursement, so people who need things that Medicaid won't cover, supplies, camp
You got a
fees,
big
things of that
job.
nature, yes.
Big job. So family support and self-direction covers it,
Yes.
pretty much. You got everything in there.
Everything, little bit of
But
everything.
you need money for that, so I think you're
Yes,
doing a
we do.
gala, is that it? Or
Yes,
you're
we are. We're doing
well,
an evening-
not a
we're doing-
gala, you're doing,
Yep,
yeah,
we're doing an evening
fundraiser.
on the lake, June 26th.
Crooked
At
Lake?
Old Day,
No,
Old
where
Daly
is
and
it?
Crooked
Yeah,
Lake.
yeah,
Yep, Crooked Lake and April Park. Keith Algazine from United Concierge Medicine is our honorary chair this year. And at last year's event, Steve Boucher from Boucher Financial and me decided that we're going to direct all the proceeds to Direct Support Professional Fund. because we believe that the DSPs are so vital. We can't, unfortunately, don't have the adequate funding to give them what we want to give them. So we're trying to, take things in our own hand and trying to raise whatever
You
money
did that
we
last
can.
year. What are you doing this year?
That's what we're doing again
this year too.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. We did at the dinner theater. We, we
with
were here
Joe,
last time.
Joe Starzik.
With Joe, it was a sold-out crowd.
He's wonderful.
So it was, yep. He's retiring soon, so we'll have to coax him into another couple dinner theaters. I told him it's only a plane ticket.
He's
to
he's an
New
amazing
Orleans.
playwright.
So it's going to be a fun night. We have art work from individuals that we support.
And we have the photos now. We've got photos. I don't know if those
we have some artwork from individuals we support.
These are people that attended last year.
Yep. We also have auctions where I'm humbled by the local businesses and community
And there's
giving
the
us
artwork
things.
that you were from last year.
Yep, and then those doors that are on there, that was my son's Eagle Scout project. He made those doors for us.
And is the artwork for sale?
The artwork's for sale.
So that they can buy that.
That people
too.
can buy it.
So you not only have your event going on, you also have ways to like silent auctions. And
Silent
like
auction we have live auction too. We have a barbecue for 50.
Yeah.
We have Ralph Passano helping us out. Great, he's come back again.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
We have a lot of baseball tickets. We were fortunate that people gave us tickets, so we packaged them with overnight stays.
Yeah.
We have an overnight in Cooperstown, so we're really excited.
You got a lot going on. Now, when is this big event?
June 26th, so next week. So you still can get tickets. Go on our website.
Go to the website to get tickets.
Renarc.org. And we'd be happy to have you come. And it's a fun night.
From 6 to 9.
6 to 9, yep.
It's a really great night and a great event
now,
promoting the
Did you have
DSP
music?
fund.
We don't have so much music. Well, this year we're gonna have a little bit. We're gonna have a little bit of music. Close. People have to come and sing.
We'll have a sing along.
That's right.
We'll let
Maybe I'll have people can pay to get me to stop singing. That might raise more money.
There you go. Now you see, now you're working with this. You got it going here. So, no, that would be a great way to raise a little money. No, not really, but.
And also, like the field is struggling, with direct support professionals. So one of the neat things are that we did locally, and actually Schenectady ARC, our sister chapter started, is we have a lip sync challenge.
I saw that. Yeah,
so
we had them on the show.
Yep. If you go to arcsync.org, we've been posting all of them there, so you can kind of see all.
They
the
were a lot of fun.
A lot of
and
fun.
the folks had fun. Folks really.
You got to have fun with what you do.
Yep.
But
That's right.
we want to encourage everyone to go to this event, and it's called An Evening on the Lake. And it's at Crooked Lake, at the Daily.
Old Daily
on Crooked Lake. Good food there.
Good food.
Wonderful food.
Yep.
You're going to have a lot of fun. And not only that, but you're going to be helping an organization that does so much for the community.
And all the money stays local. We take no administration out. We give it right back to the state.
Yeah, I know. That's a good part. It doesn't go to the national and then get filtered down.
Yep.
I want to thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
The time just flies. I don't know where it goes, but it does. But we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about cat on a hot tin. I think animals are in the theme today.
Right.
Cat on a hot tin roof. Stay tuned. Great.
Confused for a beaver, the relatively small muskrat has a very different tail. One that is obviously thinner. And unlike the beaver, the muskrat uses its tail to aid its propulsion through the water. The beaver has 5 digits on each front paw. These fingers are very dexterous. Though they have no opposable thumb, the hand's outside digits serve a similar purpose, and they allow the beaver a tight grasp. Their fingers, with long claws, give the beaver the ability to build and to
Okay, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Who doesn't love Tennessee Williams? Oh my gosh, great plays he puts on, and I tell you, this is one of his classics, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And with me I have Rich Zagendorf, and he plays Brick, and Brick, he's quite the guy.
Yeah.
Troubled.
That's probably a nice way to put it.
Yeah, then next to that we have Glenn Reed. Next to Brick we have Glenn Reed. Glenn Reed plays Big Daddy.
That's right.
That's the Burl Ives part, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's the Burl Ives part.
Yeah. And then we have Janice Waltz, who's playing Big Mama.
Yes, I have to put up with these two gentlemen in the play.
You love it.
Yeah. Well, I love it because, he's rich. So I have a lot of nice jewelry and a pretty dress.
And you're the Southern Belle.
No, I leave that to Maggie.
Maggie the cat.
Maggie the cat.
Don't let her kid you. She likes me for my body.
Well, yeah. Actually, there's a lot of implied Southern sex in this. I say Southern sex because nothing happens. But
in the South, right?
No, nothing happens. It's too hot. Are you kidding me? But the show's going to go on anyway. We open on Thursday.
And it goes 3 days, is it?
It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the
two performances.
And Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, 7:30. Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's
give
5
plenty
shows.
Of chances. And this is going to be in the Fenimore Gallery.
It is in the Fenimore Gallery of Proctor's Theater. That's on the 2nd floor.
And Brick, how long have you been acting?
Oh, since high school.
High school.
Yeah. I kind of stumbled into it. I had a friend who was like, "You should do this," and I was like, "Man, I don't really know." And now I've probably done about 50 shows or so.
Once it gets in your blood, right?
Yeah, you're kind of just hooked on it.
I know.
This
it's
show.
so hard not to be. It's because
Yeah.
it's so much fun to do. Not only that, but you create a new family for every show.
Oh, absolutely. The cast
I
becomes...
mean, Big Daddy and Big Mama, but I mean, other than that, you can create your own family.
Yeah,
the cast becomes so tight-knit during
this because you're only together for maybe 8
6
weeks,
weeks,
6
6
weeks.
days.
You know, something in that range, but
You spend so much time together, and you
form these bonds. And
obviously you're doing a lot of character development, forming these relations.
Exactly.
on stage, and that sort of just carries over.
Who's directing the show?
Personal life.
Peggy Perrone.
Okay, yeah, and she's quite active in the
Yes, Peggy and I in an
Classic
earlier
Theater Guild.
Right, we played the mothers in our town together actually.
Oh, okay.
So, yep. But
And
Peggy's
Glenn, you've
our
been on the show a number of times.
Yes,
with
I
theater.
have.
Yeah.
Back when you were down in the basement.
In the basement, we were always somewhere
You've
else.
moved on up.
Yeah, moving on up. We're in the Addie Theater now. So.
Yeah, my first play was this play called Our American Cousin. I did
Oh,
this
yeah.
1865, yeah. It was
Wait a
the
minute,
Ford's
that was-
Theater.
that wasn't that?
Abe Lincoln.
I'm
How
joking.
did you like the play?
Well,
other
it
than that, Mrs. Lincoln,
well,
how did you like the
it
play?
ended early.
that old chestnut there.
That's right.
And Jan, I know you've been in a lot of plays. We see you on the Schenectady Light Opera stage. You have a beautiful voice. You sing with the octavo. You just really. So, do you sing in this play?
I sing sort of 2 little lines. Sweetheart, sweetheart. That's all I sing. But the play is very, very approachable. It is just about a family, and as we know, every family is dysfunctional in its own way. And as I teasingly said, I spend half the play saying, Brick, come on out, because he's doing his own thing.
Right, and I spend about half the play ignoring her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Brick is a
So
very
normal
troubled
family.
guy, and I
He
feel
is.
bad for Maggie. I mean, she's really.
Yeah.
She's trying so hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of dysfunction.
Who plays
there.
Maggie, by the way?
Christina
Reeves.
Christina Reeves.
Okay.
Phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
Okay. That's a tough part.
It is.
It is. I think what I like about Tennessee Williams is it's very driven by this incredible characters that are realistic and looking at. I always liked Tennessee Williams, and I've directed a few of his plays, and it's because when you do the dialogue, and there's a lot of times when you'll know, my lines, I repeat some of these lines over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it's tough when you're trying to memorize them, right?
Correct.
Where am I in this?
But in real life, that's what we do. We talk over and over and say the same things back and forth, and people get annoyed because we're doing that. And as you get older and you start facing mortality, which is what Big Daddy is doing, you start getting a sense that everything is falling apart real quick.
Yeah.
And I think we all are at that different point in our lives where we have to kind of search through it. That's what I like about it.
Well, his plays are thought-provoking.
Yes.
Because, I mean, if you look at, like, A Streetcar Named Desire or The Glass Menagerie, many of these plays, they really look at people's kind of weaknesses and failings and challenges and, you know, and introspection, looking at themselves. I mean, it's amazing.
And what makes the play interesting is, as Glenn said, there is a struggle. And it is, how do people react to the struggle? Just in real life, you know, some people totally collapse. Other people find their inner strength. And we certainly see that with Maggie's character.
Yeah,
that she is just going to bring life forward and take that challenge.
Yeah, I think you see a lot of growth with all of the characters, and you see a lot of attributes that you would normally make a character dislikable, but yet you walk away from the show really liking every single character. You see both sides of them. So you see those parts that make them, in other productions, maybe somewhat villainous or somewhat distasteful, but you also see their redeeming qualities. It's very well written. The dialogue is just...
Well, I mean,
they're real characters.
Amazing.
There's nothing, it's drama, but it's supposed to be fantasy, but in fact it's real, and it's dealing with all those themes of life, of betrayal, of disappointment, of heartbreak, the things that we're all feeling in our lives in real life.
Yeah.
So it's a little depressing to be Big Daddy knowing I'm, you know, at the end instead of the beginning.
Yeah.
But my hope is, that, as all of us do as we get older, is I hope that our children will carry on. And biggest thing for Big Daddy is making sure
he's got his hopes.
He's got his hopes riding on this one.
Yeah.
And this one over here can't keep her hands off me.
Well, we're not going to go there. I just quickly have to say who's coming up next week, and I have to ask Katie because the timing, I'm not sure how many minutes I have left. Katie, can you tell me?
We're at 56:49.
Okay.
How many?
56:49.
Okay, 50, okay, good. Yeah, okay, my clock is okay then. I'm sorry, we're just doing technical stuff. Wait, this is my camera over here. Okay, good. Next week, we're doing the Full Monty. No, we're not. We're going to talk about the Full Monty on next week for Cap Rep. We're going to be talking about the Guilderland Band and their events. Iroquois Indian Museum is going to be here. Music Haven, we're going to hear about their concert series. And Class Afloat will be on to talk about their tall ships and education. Getting back to this, so we want to tell people, first of all, when can they see it? And they're going to see it at Proctor's here.
Proctor's on the second floor in the Fenimore Gallery. And Thursday,
done
Friday,
productions there as
Saturday,
well.
and Saturday. Those 3 days, it'll be on at 7:30. And then Saturday and Sunday, the 2 o'clock matinee. So you've got 5 chances to see a wonderful play.
Okay, and how do they get their tickets?
Proctor's box office.
Okay, and they can either walk up or call it right in.
Walking up is
online.
nice. You don't have to pay the fees, but don't tell Proctor's I said that.
Too late.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's okay. I mean, whatever, it takes to get people in to see the show.
Yes.
One of the things that we should say about Classic Theater Guild is that what they try and do is perform plays that have a classic feel to them. In other words, we know them. We're not going to be doing premieres of shows that no one has ever heard of. So you really try and do shows like for Tennessee Williams, and many of the shows that you see are probably some that you read about when you were in high school or when you went to school, you read the plays.
Right.
So this is what is so important, I think, is that we need to at least have one theater group that stays with the roots of theater and what they do. What's your next production, or do you remember?
We're doing Diary of Anne Frank.
See, there you go.
And
that's an amazing
and that
play.
will be in the fall.
Yeah. I mean, they do wonderful plays. So take an opportunity to come and see them at Proctor's is where they usually are. The play is one that will get you thinking. Yeah.
And feel emotion. I mean, I have 2 children, and I raise them on musical comedy. As adults, they don't go to them because they think they're silly. But
I love musical comedy.
Well, I do too.
Yeah.
But this play is thing, you will feel something when you leave this play, because the emotions are real. They are things that people feel in their lives. And if they don't know a character exactly like this in their family, they know it in their neighborhood. It's real people.
Right. We've been talking with Janice Walsh. She's playing Big Mama. We're talking with Glenn Reed, who's playing Big Daddy. And we have Rich Sagendorf, who is playing Brick, the troubled kid.
Yeah.
Well, he's not really a kid. He's how old? 20, 30?
It doesn't specifically say. They make references to his age, but usually late 20s, early 30s. I mean, old enough to have been married, to have had a career, to have enough baggage to have to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, here he's got a beautiful wife, and he's just can't seem to get it.
I mean, he's struggling with a little bit of alcoholism.
Yeah,
he's struggling with the loss of a very close friend,
well,
and a loss of his career. So everything is kind of collapsing in around him, and it really shows his interaction with his family. This
and
show.
does he appear to be a failure for his with his family?
I don't think they view him as a failure. I think they
Only
view
his
him
brother.
as his brother definitely does, but the rest of the family, I think they just view him as having a difficult time dealing with all of these things that kind of came together at the same time for him. And
Yeah. Cat on a hot tin
him.
roof. So
Yeah.
touch it out. Ann Perillo, you're watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region.